Okay, welcome back. I felt like I should do one more before I move on and do other things. So, I don't know, that previous reading, like, something in that energy just, ooh, a 1, 2, 3, 4, persistence, and then guidance, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Let's take this. Ooh, protection. So it says, this is your time to take confidence in all that you pursue. The divine universe is working through you and protecting you, and the time has come to allow doors of opportunity to welcome you with open arms. And our affirmation for this reading is, I feel the loving care of the divine protecting me. I allow myself to pursue growth and opportunities. So, my joyous journey deck that I got from my friend. Ooh. Splitting on a Knight of Wands that may be you. You know. Let's see. I was hoping for a court card, so we'll see if that comes out as it. Nope, but an 8 of Swords. Oh my. Yep, and a King of Cups. So you may be a King of Cups who find yourself in an 8 of Swords. Or hold on a foot. Pull up this. Yeah, being trapped by self-imposed limitations. Oh, and then bottom of the deck is the Devil. Alright, so right now, you may identify with being a King of Cups who's imposed. So over here, we'll put this Devil energy, which I don't think the Devil is the actual Devil, but the Devil is like, not only do you have these self-imposed thoughts, it's like this obsession and this inability to let go of them. It may also represent like a pride and or kind of deceiving yourself. It's like you put these limitations on yourself, and it's like lying to yourself about what you really want and what you're really capable, and what it's like everything that you're telling yourself right now are a bunch of things that you've convoluted came up with for yourself to make yourself feel better about something else. And I feel like you're being guided to let this go at this time, because in order to get all this good stuff that's coming in for you, you have to like let it go. You're gonna have to let it go. You can't take your old way of thinking with you into this new life. If you want the new life, you have to let go of that old thinking. Alright, so we'll maybe take this. And maybe this one. Alright. Bottom of the deck is changed in the night. So you maybe have just coming out of a dark night of the soul. You may have went through something. You may have had something happen last night. It says use your time well. So maybe you've been an insomniac, but you feel yourself becoming braver. This card talks about keeping up, but it's upside down. So it's like you also don't feel like you can't keep up with. So look, we have use your time well and keeping up, which are both cards that are talking about timing and clocks here. So I feel like timing is going to be like a really important. And then we have in the night, which is like a time of night, you know, a time of day. Talk about becoming braver, gaining a fresh perspective. So maybe you're having to realize, yeah, you were having a dream. It says you can't go back to yesterday. So maybe you're having nostalgia about the way something used to be and thinking like you wish you could just go back to being younger. But it's like, well, you need to give that up because, you know, it says curiosity meets opportunity. So I feel like an opportunity has started to open up for you. And it really was like something's happened that ignited your curiosity. But like you weren't following it because you thought that you wouldn't be able to keep up with it because of this self-imposed limitations. And so this devil energy was trying to is like keeping you trapped in that. But you recently, but this curiosity, I think the curiosity is what's making you feel braver. And you went through this change in the night, and that change in the night is like assisting this bravery energy to like exit this. Yeah. So this a moment's regret. It's like nostalgia, but it was upside down, so it's bad nostalgia. It's like not just idealizing the past. It's like seeing like something you did in the past, and you just can't stop thinking about it. And it says talk about keeping your temper. So it's maybe making you mad about it. Or maybe you're mad at yourself. And here's clock time again. So like we have 3 cards out here that are about time and clocks. So you're either feeling pressured or you feel like somebody else was trying to pressure you, or you're trying to pressure somebody else to feel in a rush to do something. Because you felt like you weren't keeping up, right? Felt like you weren't keeping up because somebody else is in a rush? Well, you know, I mean, we all have the right to make our own choices, right? And the clock you want to live your life on may not be the clock that other people are living their lives on. And that's all there is, you know? I mean, we can't make anybody do anything that they don't want to do or that they're not ready to do or anything like that. So I'm gonna give a divine door and then wrap this up. This is actually kind of a really short reading, but I know this is for you. And that's really interesting. I've had so much masculine energy coming out lately. And you know, I think when this year started, there was a lot of talk about how like 2025 was going to be like a year of the divine masculine. Look, all these doors wanted to open just now. So there are 3 different doors. And they all want to I feel like they go like this. They go like this. So we're walking into the first door, and it says, a note on love. It says, seek different seasons and enter into the unknown. When love is the focus, foundation, and goal, blessed is the body, mind, and soul. And then we have the blue door, which talks about going even deeper. And it says, you are not finished. You are not yet done. Dig deeper and deeper. The best is to come. Hold on, hold on. Yeah, exactly. And then we have this door. And it says, a cure for longing. It says, love is happiness, a spark inside. Live deliberately and choose boldly. And then you have arrived. So it's like, yeah, I feel like this kind of, you know, you're becoming braver. So I feel like Spirit is guiding you. Like the King of Cups is usually somebody who has like a lot of feelings and deep emotions, you know? So I feel like you're being guided to really embrace your feelings, spend time with your emotions, accept the past for what it is, and realize that, you know, that time is gone. You know, there's no sense in like spending the rest of your life regretting what you didn't do correctly before in the past or anything like that, and just try to do your best going forward. Maybe you also need to spend some time and figure out what do you love? What do you love? It doesn't necessarily have to be a person. It could be like your pets, your animals. Maybe you like rabbits. You know, maybe you like art. Maybe you're also, when you're working through your emotions, if something keeps making you feel angry, maybe you need to explore your anger and figure out where your anger really comes from. Like you might say, right now I'm having this situation with this person and it's upsetting. It's like, yeah, but what about it is the most upsetting? And when you figure out what that is, ask yourself, why is it that this makes me so upset? What about this makes me so angry? Why? Why do I feel this? You know what I mean? Because you need to be able to know why you feel things and what you want to do with that. Because if your solution is just to say, well, there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm not going to try to do anything about it, and then walk around pretending that you don't feel that way, that's not a resolution and it's not a solution. That's just repressing your feelings and shoving them down. It's like sweeping dirt under the rug, you know? You haven't actually cleaned it out or let it go. You just stuffed it down somewhere to not look at it. And I feel like you really need to look at it, you know? So that you can figure out, all right, where is this coming from? Why does this make me feel upset? Because it says using your time well, but the other two cards with time are upside down. So there seems to be something is off balance in your life, and it has to do with time. But it's not necessarily, it could be like managing your daily time, but it could just be time in general in terms of like the past, present, and future. You know, or maybe you feel like you've wasted your time and you didn't use your time that you had. But it's like, well, are you dead? Well, if you're not dead yet, then you still have time to choose who you want to be. Take the time to figure out how you feel. Take the time to figure out what you want. Take time to figure out what you love. What do you love? If you don't love anything, maybe that's why you feel angry. Maybe you feel angry because you don't have love, or you want love, or you don't know how to love, or you don't know how to receive love. I don't know, but you like, these are the questions you have to like ask yourself, because we had this 8 of Swords that's like that self-imposed, it's like a mental prison, you know, it's like trapping yourself. But you know what the thing about this 8 of Swords, those mental prisons, you're really not locked in. Like, you can open that door and walk right out of that prison anytime. You just have to decide that you want to, and you have to be willing to allow yourself to do it. And that's the real part there, is being willing to allow yourself to do it. It's being willing to allow yourself to like stop punishing yourself for the failures of the past and use them as lessons to figure out how you want to navigate life in the future. You know, maybe you loved somebody once upon a time and things didn't go well, and now you had to learn some things about love and about yourself. And so now when you love people in the future, you'll understand how to love them better. You know, maybe you also need to explore, how do you want to be loved? What does love feel like to you? Like, because if you can't even articulate for yourself how you want to be loved, how's anybody else supposed to love you in the way you want to be loved? But you don't know how you want to be loved. And how are you going to know how you want to be loved if you don't take that time to sit with yourself and figure out, what would love feel like to me? How do I want to feel that? And then, like, if you meet somebody or have anybody in your life or want to have somebody in your life, you have to tell people how to love you, because everyone doesn't experience and feel love the exact same way. Like, everybody can feel love, but there's a thing called love languages, and how we all experience and express love can vary. Like, there's 5 main recognized ones, but I think there's probably a lot more than that. You know, it could be like blends and ratioed mixes of them. You know, just like you can take water, eggs, flour, and sugar and make an assortment of different types of breads and desserts. It's like what you make depends of how much you put of each thing in there, right? And so the same thing is true of love. It's like how each of us experience love. Like, some of us experience love with breakfast food, and some of us experience love with dessert. And some people experience it with snacks, you know? And you just have to figure out, what does that look like for you? What does that feel like for you? What do you want it to feel like? You know? What's going to make you happy? Because, like, the part of you that's angry, I feel like the part of you that's angry is the part that feels like it didn't get something that it should have gotten. It's like, well, what is that? What do you feel like you've been cheated out of? It's like, because you're angry because you either felt like somebody took it away, or they didn't give it to you, or they ruined something that you have. Or maybe you're mad at yourself because you feel like you ruined something that you have. You know, and feel like, okay, well, if you're upset that you lost it, What was it? What was about it that you love so much that makes you so angry that you now don't have it anymore? And figuring out, like, taking that time to ask yourself, like, what was it about that that makes you feel this way? And you need to be able to answer that. And that is what we call emotional intelligence. And it's super, super important because if you do want to have love and a rewarding, lasting relationship with literally anybody, you're going to need to be able to figure out how you feel about things and learn how to be able to communicate that to your person. Whether in a short-term relationship, poly relationships, long-term relationships, if you want them to last and be meaningful, then you need to be able to learn how to express how you feel about things. You need to be able to know what you need and express to other people what it is you need and how you're able to receive that. Because you have to know that. Like, even if you have somebody who's like psychic or intuitive, like the way being psychic works for people can vary, and it doesn't always work the way it seems like in video games and movies, you know? And sometimes people have a lot of things, like even people who are psychic, sometimes they get so much feedback from so many different things that it's hard to distill and filter it all down and figure out what's coming from who, and you know, and sometimes you know and right away, and sometimes you don't. But you can take all that guesswork and all that confusion and all this self-limiting will all just immediately evaporate if you can find a way to communicate with somebody what you want from them, you know? And I feel like with this changed in the night, it's either already started. If this hasn't happened yet, then you're about to go through this. So, I think you should take the time to do this because that's really important. And that's all I have for you this time. If you listened to all of this, thank you very much. I hope you subscribe and come back for. I identify as a starseed. I'm a Sirius and Lyran starseed. So if you like starseed messages and are interested about spiritual awakenings, I would be happy to help you get on your journey. So that's all I have for you this time.